Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome back to Hitchcock's Motorcycles. This is part 2 of our series meeting the staff and talking about the bikes that they ride. The person we've got for this interview needs no introduction whatsoever. He's been here longer than half of the building. So let's welcome Wayne back to the channel. So Wayne, thank you for joining us and thank you for agreeing to have a chat with us. You're the second staff member to have been brave enough to chuck himself over the parapet, so we thank you for that. And thank you for bringing your lovely bike for us to talk about today. You've been enjoying your Guerrilla so far.
Very much. It's probably one of my favourite bikes.
Great stuff. How long have you worked at Hitchcock's and what's your job role?
I've worked at Hitchcock's 18 years, coming up this October. I work on phone orders, technical advice, a bit of everything really. Obviously I've been here a long time. I've got a good knowledge of the older bikes, which makes me an advantage. Yes.
And on your day-to-day, obviously we deal with customers all the time. You deal a lot with the used parts because of your knowledge of the older bikes. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I've been here such a long time and I've got a history with motorcycles, my knowledge of the older bikes, not as good as Alan's, but probably second. So obviously I deal with the older parts. Mm-hmm. I leave the newer models to people like you. So it's just a niche, isn't it? You know, Hitchcock's cover everything post-war to present day, and you can't, not one person can know all of that. No. So we all have our own little specialities.
Excellent, thank you very much. And speaking of your biking history, would you mind just running through, I don't know whether you started as a youngster and then progressed through brands or whatever. Can you just pick out a few of your highlights in your riding career and the bikes you've enjoyed?
Well, my father had a string of motorcycle shops, so I could ride a bike before I could walk. Mm-hmm. So I grew up riding bikes, stripping them, motocross, enduros, road racing, karting. Mm-hmm. In my youth, I've done it all really. I'm proud. I was very lucky to do that.
Yeah, sure. And were there any particular marks or brands that have followed you throughout your riding career that you've stuck with? Such as Royal Enfield. I know you've had a lot of Royal Enfields.
At my age, I cut my teeth on the Japanese bikes.
Of course.
My father was going from the British bikes to Japanese, so my first bike was a Popsicle Purple FS1E.
Excellent.
And I went on from there. So for some reason, my father hated Royal Enfields. So it's quite ironic that I end up working here. So I've only known Royal Enfield since I joined here.
Excellent. And out of all the bikes that you've had the pleasure, I know we've got a Fury in the showroom that you helped design and build. Out of all the bikes that you've had the pleasure of either working with or owning in the time of the Hitchcocks, is there any highlights?
I think my 612, I built a 612 for the experience, and that was a great bike. And I sort of regret breaking that and getting rid of it. So yeah, simply because it was such a nice bike, and we built it with all the Hitchcock's bits, and it was pretty smoky for a Royal Enfield at the time.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of following Alan down to the 125 years on the 612 Scrambler. They're serious bits of kit with all the bits on, aren't they? They're lovely. Yeah. Great stuff. So moving to your latest Royal Enfield, and I know you've had a few. The rumour was before I started that whenever they released a new model, Wayne had already ordered one. But you moved from a 450 Himalayan quite quickly onto this. Could you just talk me through that a little bit and why you chose the Guerrilla?
Yeah, I mean, my wife and myself ran a 411 Himalayan and both loved it. I used it as a go-to-work bike. So naturally, when the 450 was announced, I ordered one. When it did turn up, it was quite tall and slightly top-heavy for someone of my wife and my height. Yeah, sure. So my wife couldn't ride it. I got on okay with it, but it was still high. So when we heard the Guerrilla was announced, it was a no-brainer. Yeah. So as soon as they came out, we dropped to the 450. It's a bit lighter, it's a bit lower, and in my eyes, it just does everything. Yeah, it's a great bike.
And let's just delve into that a little bit deeper. That Sherpa 450, the first liquid cooled, I think potentially, and we've discussed this in the office, the original, like the OG Royal Enfield customer, may have been put off by the fact it was liquid cooled a little bit. But we've seen over time that it is actually, instead of being a younger crowd coming to it, it is potentially older guys downsizing or looking for a second bike that are going for it. What's your views on the motor?
I think It started with the Himalayan 411. It wasn't everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
And it was a slow burner. It's got a huge following now.
Oh, it has.
And everyone said, we want something quicker. So Royal Enfield naturally doubled the brake horsepower with the 450. Again, people were very, I think, averse to the water cooling and the technology. And again, the 450s in the Himalayan and the Guerrilla have been slow burners. I think they create their own market. And people are a little bit averse to getting on. But, you know, they are very popular now.
Yeah, the figures are fantastic for them, aren't they? So let's have a quick look round your bike. Let's cut now and we'll move over and we'll go through the bits that you've done to it and you can talk us through it.
Okay.
So, Wayne, lovely bike, the Guerrilla. I really like your colourway, but there was a story that you told me originally you didn't pick this colourway, did you? You went for the blue and white one.
No, I ordered the blue and white. And Hitchcock's ordered, I think, the other colour.
Yeah.
And when they turned up, they said, Wayne, your blue and white one's not turned up, so I was a bit upset. And when I went to the dealers to pick Hitchcock's bike up, this was in the window, and I fell in love with the colour scheme, so I just grabbed that.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move and talk about the few bits that you've done to the bike. Starting from the front, I noticed that we've got a Fuel X on, we've got a Pro Plus. What's your feelings about that?
The 450 Himalayan I had, where the Fuel X Lite, one of the first ones, and it really does transform it. As standard, as you probably know, they're set up super lean, and that you have to rev them like a two-stroke to make them go.
Yeah.
It is the best mod you can do, and I'm not saying this as a salesman.
No.
As a rider, it transforms the engine. It gives it a lot more low down and mid-range power.
Excellent.
I would have been quite happy with the light on this, but we were experimenting with the Euro 5 Plus.
Yes.
And this was a prototype system, and it stayed on.
Excellent.
And along with the Zard pipe.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec.
Right.
Okay, so with the Pro Plus, do you find yourself playing around with it, or have you found a home and you sort of sit with it?
No, we found a setting. It worked well, and doesn't seem to affect the fuel consumption that much. Mm-hmm. And I've just stuck with that.
Great stuff. And what sort of range do you get out of the tank? Just,
About 160 miles to the tank.
It's pretty good.
12 litre tank, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good stuff. Moving along the bike, and you did mention it just, we've got a beautiful Zard silencer. I noticed you've left that with the catalytic converter in. You've just gone for the end can. Are you pleased with it? The quality is absolutely superb, isn't it? It really looks the part.
We did run the decat pipe, but with that and the Zard with the baffle out, the baffle in, it was too noisy.
Yeah.
Because I live out in the country, so I went back to the decat. Zard silencer without the baffle is just about right for me.
Yep.
And it's the nice thing that you can juggle things around and find your own personal level of noise that you like, with the performance issues as well.
That's great. And if you don't mind, when we're just having some shots of the bike, I'll fire it up so the listeners can hear the end can. And moving back to the back of the bike, Wayne, I notice you've fitted the new official rack from Royal Enfield. Are you pleased with it? I notice you've teamed it with a very nice jivvy bag as well. Can you just talk us through what it was like to fit, the quality, etc.?
Yeah, the rear carrier was dead easy. You drop the mudguard down, 4 bolts, bolt it back up. Fitted very well, it's good quality. The jivvy bag I like because it's just enough to put my trainers and lunch in. It's expandable if you want to put something else in, so it's great.
And just talking about the bike in general, I know you're generally a kind of ride to a cafe, have a nice day, sort of, short to medium distance style rider. Have you done any big trips on it? What's it like on the longer distance? And, just give us a final summary on the bike, really.
Yeah, last year we went to the Welsh International Rally down in somewhere in Wales. It was about 100 miles. It was a very easy ride on the A and B roads. It handles superbly, it's comfortable. I didn't have a bad back. And it soaked the miles up, and it was a joy to ride.
Good stuff. Well, let's move back to the bench and get out of this sun, and a couple more questions. So, a couple of questions to finish, Wayne, if you don't mind. Let's pretend that the Guerrilla doesn't exist, or unfortunately someone's been horrible enough to take your beautiful bike off you. Out of the current range of what's available, if you didn't have a Guerrilla, what would you be picking?
I think I might be tempted to get a Scram and do some tuning work on it.
Yeah, sure.
We did some on the old Himalayan and it was very, very good. The Scrams are good money.
Yeah, you can pick them up really well now, can't you?
The twins are a bit too heavy for me. 350 is a bit too common.
well dodged.
But no, I think probably if I had to choose something other than a Guerrilla, it would be the Scram.
Okay, great. Thank you. And the last question, again, a theoretical question. Let's say that Royal Enfield were kind enough to give us a couple of tickets to Motorverse, but we've got to pick a bike and make our own way there. What you taking, and what's the soundtrack playing in your helmet?
It would be the Guerrilla. It would be anything from Pink Floyd.
Excellent. Well, Wayne, thanks ever so much for talking to
My
us.
pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you.
We're really lucky to have you here at Hitchcock's. That's it for this week, guys. I hope you found that interesting. If you do have any questions on the Guerrilla, please put them in the comments section below. I will either forward them to Wayne to answer, or I'll try and answer them for you. But my name's been Matt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.